The floorboard creaked at 2:47 a.m., not the house settling. This was a footstep. Then another. I lay frozen in my bed, listening to the ghost in my hallway. My husband snored softly beside me. He never heard the night sounds. That was always my job. I'd been married to David for 18 months. His son, Marcus, had lived with us for 11. The kid was 17, quiet as furniture, and moved through our house like he was trying not to disturb the air. I tried the stepmom thing early on, made his favorite dinners, asked about his day, left a light on. He'd say, "Thanks," and vanish into his room. That door stayed closed. Always. David told me to give him space. "He's still processing his mom," he'd say. She'd passed 2 years before I entered the picture. Cancer, fast and brutal. I respected the boundary for a while. The first shift happened on a Tuesday, laundry day. I was folding clothes in the living room, and Marcus's hoodie was inside out. When I flipped it, I saw the stain. Dark brown, flaky, not mud. I told myself it was sauce, ketchup maybe. But my fingers knew the texture. I stood there holding that fabric for 5 full minutes, my heart hammered against my ribs. That night I knocked on his door. Dinner was ready. "Not hungry," came the muffled reply. I pressed my palm against the wood. "You okay?" Silence. Then, "Just tired." The next morning, the hoodie was gone from the laundry basket. He must have grabbed it early, before sunrise. I started noticing other things, long sleeves in summer, a hesitation before rolling them up to wash his hands. Once, I caught him wincing as he reached for a glass. His forearm flexed, and I saw the edge of a bandage. He caught me looking. Our eyes met for 1 second. He pulled his sleeve down. "Skateboard accident," he muttered. I nodded. Let it go. But I didn't sleep that night. I kept seeing that bandage. The exact size. The way it wrapped. David worked late Thursdays. That became my danger zone. The house felt different when it was just me and the silence. I'd pace the kitchen, run my fingers along the marble island, listen. At 11:32 p.m. one Thursday, I heard music through Marcus's door. Not loud, just enough to vibrate. Something raw and angry. I stood outside his room for 10 minutes. My hand hovered over the knob. I'd never entered without permission, but something pulled me. The door was unlocked. I pushed it open 2 inches. Darkness, except for his desk lamp. He sat hunched over something, his back to me. I could see his shoulders moving, a rhythm. Then I smelled it. Rubbing alcohol, sharp and clean. My stomach turned to stone. I pulled the door shut, quiet as I could. Back in my room, I Googled signs of self-harm until my eyes burned. Every bullet point was a photograph of Marcus. The next day, I stopped by the pharmacy, bought antiseptic, gauze, medical tape. I told the cashier it was for a camping trip. I hid them in the guest bathroom, behind the towels. I was becoming someone I didn't recognize, a woman who spied, who prepared for wounds she wasn't supposed to know about. But the alternative was worse. Doing nothing felt like letting him drown. One Friday, he came home with his hand wrapped in a fresh bandage. White, clean. David noticed. "What happened?" "Cooking," Marcus said. "Burned it on the pan." David believed him. Why wouldn't he? I watched Marcus's face. He didn't look at me. That night, I heard the shower running for 45 minutes. The water never got cold in this house. I imagined him in there. The steam, the reveal. At 1:13 a.m., I crept to the guest bathroom, retrieved the supplies, walked to his door. My knuckles tapped once. Soft. No answer. I tried again. "Marcus?" The music was off now. Pure silence. I turned the knob. It gave. He was sitting on his bed, shirtless, facing the window. His back was a map. Thin lines, some fresh, some scarred over. My breath caught. He didn't turn. "You should leave." I stepped inside, closed the door behind me. "Please," he whispered. It cracked. I sat on the floor, my back against his door. The carpet was soft. I placed the medical supplies next to me. "I brought things," I said. He laughed. It was ugly. "You brought things. For your hand." "My hand is fine. Your other hand, then." He finally looked at me. His eyes were red, not from crying, from exhaustion, from war. How long have you known? A while. Are you going to tell Dad? The question hung between us. I could see him calculating, preparing for betrayal. I haven't decided, I said. It was the truth. He nodded, like he expected that. I don't do it for attention, he said. I do it because I can't feel anything else. The words landed like a physical weight. I thought about his mother, about the way grief works, how sometimes pain is the only proof you're still here. I used to do something similar, I said. It was a lie, but it felt necessary. He tilted his head. Yeah? After my sister died, I'd pinch myself, hard, just to... I searched for the right words. Just to remember my skin was still mine. He turned fully now. The lamplight caught the newest marks. They were precise, controlled. It's the only thing that quiets the noise, he said. What noise? He tapped his temple. The screaming. It's constant. I didn't ask what the screaming said. I wasn't ready. I pushed the supplies toward him. Will you let me help? He stared at the bag, then at me. Why? He asked. Because you're not alone in this house. He took the bag, opened it, looked at the contents like they were artifacts from another world. I don't know how to stop, he admitted. David came home early that night, caught us both in Marcus's room. The door closed. His face went through 3 emotions in 2 seconds. Confusion, suspicion, fear. What's going on? Marcus froze. The supplies were still in his lap. I stood up. My legs were numb from sitting. We need to talk, I said. David looked at Marcus, then at the gauze, then at me. The understanding broke across his face like a wave. No, he whispered. Not to me. To the universe. Marcus stood. His scars were visible. Evidence. I'm sorry, Marcus said. But he wasn't apologizing to us. He was apologizing for existing this way. David collapsed into the desk chair, put his head in his hands. I'd imagined this moment, practiced speeches. But now the words evaporated. I found out, I said. I've known. I didn't tell you, because I didn't know how. David's voice was muffled. How long? Months. The betrayal was palpable. I'd stolen his right to know. I'd made myself the gatekeeper of his son's pain. Marcus sat back down. He looked smaller. I asked her not to tell you. He lied. I let him. It was his armor. I wouldn't strip it. David looked up. His eyes were wet. Why? He asked Marcus. Why didn't you come to me? Marcus picked at the bandage on his hand. You're already broken, he said. I didn't want to be the thing that shattered you. The silence that followed was the heaviest sound I'd ever heard. We got him help. Therapy. A program. It was all very procedural. The house filled with pamphlets and appointments. David and I didn't talk about that night, not directly. But something shifted between us. A hairline fracture. He started sleeping in the guest room some nights. Said he had insomnia. I knew better. He was grieving his son's secret grief, and he was grieving my deception. Marcus and I developed a language. I'd leave a mug of tea outside his door on bad nights. He'd leave it empty in the sink the next morning, a signal. He didn't stop immediately. That's not how it works. There were relapses. Nights I'd hear the floorboard creak and know. But I'd also hear the desk drawer open, the one where he kept the supplies I'd given him. The clean ones. One night, 3 months later, he knocked on my door. It was 3 a.m. I opened it. He stood there, shirtless, but his skin was clean, no new marks. I didn't, he said. Tonight, I didn't. I pulled him into a hug. He was stiff at first. Then he melted. 17 years of holding himself together collapsed in my arms. David watched from the hallway. I saw his shadow retreat. The next day, he asked me for a divorce. Not because of you, he said, but because I can't look at you without seeing how I failed him. I signed the papers. It seemed cruel to fight. Marcus stayed with him. I moved 2 towns over, got an apartment with thin walls and a loud radiator. He texts me sometimes. Short messages. Bad night. Good night. Thanks for the tea. I never know what to say back, so I just send a thumbs up. It feels inadequate. Last week I got a photo, no caption. It's his hand, holding a paintbrush, the same hand that used to hold the blade. The canvas behind it is dark, angry, beautiful. I understand now that some struggles never end. They just change shape. The night I understood his silent struggle was the night I learned that saving someone can cost you everything you were trying to protect. The floorboard still creaks in my dreams. But now, I know what it's trying to say.